Today we have a Mitsubishi Outlander 2004 model. It's a DID diesel turbo 14 model Mitsubishi Outlander. The problem with the car is it has a Dpf fault. Basically the car is going in a limp mode. And yeah, the obviously car's losing power and a lot of black smoke coming out of the tailpipe. And on the in the fault there was a Dpf faults in the computer engine issue. Dpf blocked, something like that. Actually, I'll go and show you the actual fault code numbers and all that. I did print it out. So this was one fault, P1498, excessive PM in a Dpf, and it also had this fault, a P2463, no chance of forcible regeneration of Dpf. I'll go through with you about this page in a minute, but let's just go back to the car again. And previous mechanic I've been to obviously didn't fix the problem. They basically told them to go to a dealer, Mitsubishi dealer, and some of them obviously try to tell her that it needs to they need to replace Dpf itself, which is like, don't know, $5,000 maybe in Australia, don't know. Anyway, so finally the car's here, and I'm gonna just walk you through what I do when I get a Dpf problems. And I am so sick of mechanics telling customer that it needs a Dpf. Some of the mechanic actually changed the Dpf, and I'm gonna tell you today, Dpf is not the cause, it's the result. Something else caused that Dpf to block. 99%, I would say 100% in my experience, that I've never seen a Dpf gone bad causing the problem. I've done many of the Dpf problem cars. It's always something else causing it, and the number one reason why I have seen in my experience the Dpf is blocked is the air leak. I have seen EGR system, I have seen mass airflow sensor also causing the same problem, oil burning, turbo leaking oil internally, and wrong type of oil. On a modern diesel cars, you cannot put anything else other than what the factory recommendation is. I have seen actually one of my friend, actually he went and did his own service, and he just picked up the cheapest oil that was on sale, and like next day it had Dpf blockage, EGR problem, all kind of problems, all kind of faults in the engine computer. So guys, please do not put oil just thinking it's cheap, it's just a diesel. No, you need to have a right recommended oil for diesels. I get you back on the scan tool. I've already selected the car. It's a 2014 Mitsubishi Outlander. It's a diesel. So what I gonna show you is on live data. So first thing, when this happens, I'm a little bit ahead of you guys on this one, so I'm just gonna walk you through what I did so far. So I went and had a look on the, this is basically what I do when I have a Dpf problem. I'm gonna definitely go and check the fault code, and I showed you what the fault codes are on that piece of paper there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to live data, and I'm gonna watch the live data of the DPF sensor itself. So usually I like to have a look at this DPF pressure sensor, and also second, also I like to quickly have a look at the boost pressure sensor. That's usually my go-to data. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly rev the car, and what I want to see here is I want to get this number as close to 200 kPa. That's usually means there is no boost leaking. So if there's a boost leakage, a large leak or something, usually you can hear it. I can't hear it on this car, but usually if it's a large boost leaking, you can hear the hissing from the engine, and this pressure will not go near 200. So if I rev it, you'll see there it's almost hit 280, 276. I saw there quickly. So basically what you want to do is obviously when you're driving it, it's gonna be even more higher number than that. If it gets as close to 200, I'm pretty good. There is no large leak. And on the DPF, let's get rid of that. Sorry, let me get that back up. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that, and I'm just gonna show you the DPF pressure. So it's hovering around 0 at idle, which is good. And when you rev it, you don't want to see this. I would say 1 psi maybe. I'll give it 1 psi. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Anything more than 1 psi, which is about 14 kPa, if I'm doing my math right. See if I can change the unit here, psi. So I don't want to see any more than 1 psi. When I'm revving it, if it hits about 3, 4, 5 psi, let's say on, if you're looking at the kPa number, if it hits about 50, 60, 70 kPa, yes, there's a problem. It's blocked. Don't worry about the data at the moment, because like I said, I'm a little bit ahead of it. It doesn't show you the problem right now, but when I first started, the data was, even on idle, it was like 30 kPa. And when I was revving it, it was hitting like 60, 70 kPa numbers there. So which is definitely a large, huge blockers in the DPF. Now from here, usually what I do is obviously take it for a drive and make sure the customer's complaint is confirmed. It is definitely has a problem. This car is in a limp on mode. And then after that, you come back and you do some testing under the hood. All right, let's go ahead and diagnose this reason why this DPF is getting blocked. Now, like I said, my number one choice on these diagnostics, whenever I see a DPF problem, is to check for the air leak. Alright, so basically I just took the air intake pipe off, and now I'm gonna put my my little balloon body here. So this will restrict the intake, and we can put smoke through this. There's a little pump. We can pump this to blow this up, just like that. You can see it's, and that will block that air intake. So we'll just simply put that in there, and we will close the valve, and we'll just blow this up until it's tight, and that should seal the system. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn our smoke machine on. So I got my smoke machine right there. I'll just bring this camera back a bit, zoom out a bit there, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this smoke and then I'm gonna put it in the pipe there. So I'll turn the smoke on. And as you can see, you can see smoke coming out of that hose there. So I'm just gonna put that in this hose and it will supply the whole intake with smoke. And we're just gonna wait and watch where the smoke's coming out of. If there's a leak, that smoke will leak. So we just wait. And I can already see smoke coming out of there. I'll just take this camera with me and I'll show you where I can see already. Right there. You can see the smoke pouring out. Let's zoom out a bit. So looks like, let's put this light up here so I don't have to hold it. So it looks like this intake pipe comes from the air filter, goes down to the turbo. Right at the neck there's a split. Okay. Alright. And we just wait and see if there's anything else. Just go around, look around the car. Sometimes it will take a little bit of time to fill the system up, so don't just assume there's only one leak. So we're just gonna wait and see. There's a lot of smoke coming out of that end there. So while the smoke machine is doing this thing, I'll just quickly talk about why air leak can cause a DPF to block. So basically, what's happening is mass airflow sensor is reading, let's say, X amount of air coming in. So computer puts X amount of fuel to compensate that mass airflow sensor reading. But there's a leak, so the air is escaping, means the engine is actually getting less air than what the mass airflow sensor is telling the computer. But the computer doesn't know the leak. So what computer does, computer just puts whatever the mass airflow sensor demand, and what you're gonna have, you're gonna have a richer mixture, and that's what causing this DPF sensor, the DPF to block. That's just the basic principle why it happens. I'm just gonna eyeball around the engine. Let's see if I can see something else. Alright, I found another leak as well. So it's down in this location here. Let me see if I can put this camera in right. So basically right here where my finger is, you can see, let's move this out the way. Right where my finger is, see that long crack on that intercooler hose coming from the intercooler? There's also a leak. It's hard to see because we got a large leak up here, so it's not getting as much smoke as it needs to visually see on the camera, but I can see if I put my torch there, you can see the smoke coming out of that pipe. Yeah, there you go. So that's another leak there. So far I only see 2 leaks. So yeah, definitely that can cause a DPF to block, no problem, no question asked. So we're gonna have to fix that, address that first, and then we're gonna do DPF burn and all that. Now, as you can see, I got a little information about this car, this problem on the Mitsubishi Outlander. Looks like all the Mitsubishi diesels do the same way. Because I found this on the internet. I don't have any information on this car other than this. I found this on the internet when I put in the code 1498. That's what it come up with, and that's our fault. Like I said, we got two faults. That's one. 1498 is one of the fault we had, right? And we also had the faults P2463 as well on the scan tool when you first started this diagnosis. So let's read through here. This is a factory procedure on how to tackle this problem. So it says on a 1498, the ECU monitors input sensors, blah blah blah, we know that. And if the PM is excessively loaded on a DPF, the ECU does not execute the automatic DPF regeneration. It makes the engine warning lamp illuminate and allow the DPF warning light to be shown. So that's we know all that anyway. And trouble judgment, it gives you some condition when this happens. You can read there, pause it and read there. I'm not going to go through it. Just a quick note on file safe backup function. So the car is on limp mode, file safe mode, and this is what it does. It stops ECR control. Cruise control is prohibited. Fuel injection amount is restricted. Open angle of the throttle pedal is restricted, and the ASNG control is prohibited. So there's few things right here is disabled when this happens on a Mitsubishi. And it says on the probable cause right here, it says the PM is abnormally loaded to the DPF inside, and which we know that. And on the diagnostic procedure on this one is it says just put the diagnostic machine, MUT, the Mitsubishi Diagnostic Scan Tool. It says if the code 2463 is set, it says yes or no. If it's a no, then do a forcible DPF regeneration through the scan tool and check if the DPF light is gone and the engine light is gone and everything back to normal. That's all it says. So if you only got this fault, 1498, and this is all they get you to do in the factory manual. Just regenerate the DPF and see the lights gone and give it back to customer. Yes, it will work fine for next 2 hours, 2 days, 20 minutes. Don't know, but I guarantee this customer will come back if you do this and thinking the problem is solved. Customer will come back and bite you. So here we don't do that. We wanna fix the problem to its root, so it's not gonna come back and bite us. And let's go back to up here. Is the diagnostic code 2463 is set. Right here it says it's if it's a yes, which we have that condition in our car, we have two fault codes. 2463, what it means is no chance of forcible regeneration. I don't have to go through this. There's a lot of blah 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 there, but I'll explain to you. What that means is ECU will disable forcible regeneration. You cannot do that if this fault code comes with this fault code. Okay, so here it says right here, at that time the ECU should store the diagnostic code 1498. It makes the engine lamp illuminate and allows the DPF warning mark to be shown. Okay, so 1498 is to give you the warning light and all that, and P2463 is basically not really, it is a fault code, but it's not really to show you the faults on the dash. It's basically disable your scan tool from doing the regeneration. That's what it means. So down here, same thing again. It will disable the EGR and cruise control and all that. We know that. And the car is on limp mode, and it says on the diagnostic procedure, replace the exhaust center pipe, means replace the DPF. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. So the Mitsubishi wants us to replace the DPF when these two fault codes present at the same time, erase the diagnostic code, and use the scan tool to initiate procedure for learning and all that. So you can read it there, pause it and read it. And is the diagnostic code set? Yes or no, check in. So that's all they want you to do. Change the DPF, do the service procedure, and give it back to customer. But they haven't addressed the real problem here, have they? There's an intake air leak there. This customer is going to come back, like I said, in 2 days. After they spend $5,000 on a new DPF, the problem is still there and the new DPF is still blocked. That's not what you do, guys. Fix your problem first, the reason why it's happening, and then do DPF. I'm not saying DPF never go bad, but I have never seen it myself. But most of the time, after you repair the problem and do the regeneration, you'll be safe. Now, I'll teach you one more thing on the scan tool, how we can avoid like the Mitsubishi does it. They basically disable us from regenerating the DPF. Even after we fix the problem, repair the hoses that's leaking, we cannot burn that DPF. So that means the problem's still gonna be there, right? Until we change the DPF. That's what Mitsubishi wants us to do, change the DPF. But what we can do is, first when I went to special function, and you go to the DPF generation right there, right? Right there, like that. It comes with this select command, DPF regeneration, and you hit OK. It's keep coming up with condition not met. Condition is not met, and we cannot regenerate. That's what it means. And I couldn't do it. And I'm trying to figure out why and how I can do it. Now, and then I thought, okay, let's try this. And when I went back, after a couple of times, I went to initialization. And it's loading. It's taking its time today. Okay, on the list here, on initialization, you can go to DPF Exchange Service. You hit that DPF Exchange Service, and you go through the prompt there, what the scan tool wants you to do. So basically, what I'm doing here is telling the computer that I have changed the DPF, but I didn't change the DPF. Now, what it does is it unlocks that DPF regeneration function for us to reburn that DPF sensor, and after that I could do what I wanted to do. So just a little tip there, if you got a Mitsubishi, don't get stuck and go and change the DPF. And also again, after we come back to the DPF regeneration page here, see update says drive, because most of the car I've had in the past, once you hit the DPF regeneration, the engine revs will go up 2,500 revolution, and then it will do its burn while you sitting idling. But on a Mitsubishi, you cannot do it. At first, I didn't think much of a drive, so I thought I hit OK to do a reburn, and it's just doing nothing. And I'll just take you there, OK, and then it's just doing nothing. The engine rev's not going up and anything like that, and it says it take more than 25 minutes or whatever, and nowhere it mentions that it needs to be driven. So here you go. So you need to drive the car in order for scan tool to do DPF regeneration. And I even tried I even tried basically other scan tool like G-Scan and Launch, and none of them had that information saying, okay, you got to drive it. G-Scan didn't even have that drive on the side you're seeing there. I think something went wrong with my scan tool. I'll just go back to the scanning again. Anyway, so G-Scan didn't even have that drive. I'll show you here. Let's just go to hot function and wrong. There you go, Dpf. So let's go back there, Dpf Regeneration. See how this has this drive in this little bracket area there? G-Scan didn't have that, the Launch didn't have that. At least this one has this drive, but I couldn't, because they didn't have a proper instruction on you have to take it for a drive. So what you do is once you hit that, once you're in this page, you go to data list. All right, and then at the bottom of the data list, and our G-Scan also has this data, not just this scan tool. See at the bottom it says Dpf Regeneration Request, and it's on. So that means we have requested the regeneration. Dpf Regeneration Operating at the second last one, it says off. So that means it's not actually regenerating, but we have sent the command to the computer. And once you start driving and the exhaust get warm, this will turn on. It will say on there. That means we know it's doing its job, it's generating. So you keep driving it until this one says off. Also up here there's a counter, 613 seconds. That's how long it's going to regenerate the Dpf. So once this gets to 0 second, you will, it's time it down to 0 second, then it will turn off, and that's how we know the Dpf manual regeneration has been completed. So just a little tips there. Basically, this car is gonna need two intake and one intake hose and an intercooler hose. And then we will do the reburn and all that, and this car should be fine. That's it. Yep, that's how I do my Dpf diagnostic.